Hi all, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
All right, let's just start. Okay, so all will keep their mic muted as we are going live on the YouTube. So please don't unmute your mics. Okay, fine. Well, we'll be starting up with our PPT of IPL data analysis. That is our today's agenda to focus on. Okay, let me just brief you about the workshop of these 2 days, exactly what you'll be going through. So you'd be understanding how this data changes and how we visualize the data. All right, today in the first day, and tomorrow also we'll be going with some practical approaches. Okay, fine. Let me just brief you here. So today we'll be going with what is data visualizations. Okay, why is data visualization important? Then we'll look on to the benefits of data visualization and the tools respectively what are there for the respective plottings as well or visualizing the data. Okay, then we'll be working up in the EDA sector, that is introduction to exploratory data analysis, what exactly it is. We'll see on to the type of respective EDA reports, and then we'll be making some practical implementation and using the Python with the Google Colab. All right, so we'll be having a introduction to data visualization and why data visualization is important. Now before I go to this, let me just talk about some tools which are important in the data visualization. So I guess that some of you, or you can say like 50 to 60% what I see in the YouTube as well are from the programming sectors, right? So that's nice. So we know that as the world entered in the era of big data, the need for its storage has also grown, right? So it was a main challenge and concern for all the enterprise industries, you can say, on until 2010 to maintain a focus on building the framework and solutions to store up the data. So now when Hadoop and other frameworks have successfully solved the problem of the storage, the focus has shifted to the processing of its data, right? We all know that. Okay, so data science is the secret sauce here. Something like all the ideas what you come up with, like in the Hollywood sci-fi movies, can actually turn in reality by using the data science. So data science is something like you can say as the future of artificial intelligence. So therefore it is very important to understand that what exactly is data science, what is the data visualization, how you visualize the data in data science, and how you can add it to your like respective profession ways. Okay, fine. So if we just brief about the data science is a blend of various tools, algorithms, and machine learning principles with the goal to, you can say, discover the hidden patterns from a raw data. Okay. Now, how it is different from the other statistics way? Okay. So, like, let's say you are an analyst. Okay. So you go with the two major domains like business administration or the EDA reports. Okay. Now, if you are a data scientist, this is just a comparison I'm saying of data analyst versus a data scientist. Okay. So if you are an analyst, you'll be going with business administration and the EDA reports. Now, if you are a data scientist, you'll be going with data product engineering, machine learning, advanced algorithms, and also the EDA reports. Now, a data scientist is actually linked with all of the things what we analysts do, right? So simple like visualization is nothing like you will be just analyzing simple and you will be just plotting it that the data in a any kind of a graph you can say on, right? So we have respective you can say sectors, all right, or we can say respective analysis methods, like we have predictive causal analytics, prospective analytics, machine learning predictions, machine learning pattern discoveries, all right. Okay, fine. So let's just see, understand about the data visualization. So it's an interdisciplinary field that deals with the graphical representation of a data. Now it's very simple, like as you can see in the slide here. This is like simple spark lines, KPI, histogram, heat map. These are actually the type of the graphs what we have. Like we can just make the type of the graphs. Okay, so bubble maps nowadays, like whenever you go to the Google, you just have a like a simple search on COVID, right? So if you just see and search for the COVID information, you'll get something like a map of world, and there you, if you just hover on the respective countries, you'll see a bubble map, right? Simple, that is called a bubble map, right? These are the maps what you see on daily basis. Actually, these spider maps are something different, right? The geo maps, again, simple, like you go in the IMAP or Google Map, anything, right? Then you have a data grid. On daily purpose, you also go with the pie charts or the heat map or histogram kind of thing. Scatter plots are used by much way, right? Okay, let's go ahead. So why this data visualization is important? So basically it gives you a clear idea of what the information exactly you are trying to stack out from your particular data set. Now let it be of anything. Today like we'll be having it from the IPL data set. Okay. So you will be getting up the links of that data exactly like to practice on and to like to make up the assignments as well. Okay. So basically in the data visualization, why exactly it is important? The second parameter can be like this makes the data more natural for the human mind to comprehend and therefore makes it easy. Right? Okay, just a moment. Yeah. So we'll be looking on to the benefits of the data visualization, their tools, and the data visualization methods in the Python. Okay. So we have some sort of topics, let's say like correlation in relationships, trends over the time, frequency, examining the market, and the risk and reward. So these are basically the benefits of data visualization. We'll be going one by one. So let's say in the correlation in relationships. Now you can see exactly a map here is nothing but a scatter plot exactly, right? So it is something you will be having a bivariate analysis here, that is versus the wind and the pressure, and that's the count on the right side you are getting. Okay. So a correlation is something like a measure of a degree of relationship between any two variables, and that can be used or that can be like plotted with any such you can say algorithm as well, right? You can use just x as a parameter, y as a parameter, and just plotting up the data. It can be a histogram, it can be a bar graph, it can be a scatter plot, anything. Okay. That's it. Okay. Right. So correlation is something like as one of the set of the values which increases and the other set to the decrease. That could be like you can say as a relationship between two variables. Now relationship between two variables in machine learning is also called as a regression. Right. Okay. That's it. And the trends over time is simple like what you are having there is just a line graph as you can see on there. That is something like you see most probably in the stocks. Okay. So basically the stocks data, whatever you see here. So we are having a BOPIS online share growth on the cases of the April, right? So trend is what hyper popular of a certain point in time you get it. Okay, we'll be actually having practical approach more, just hovering on this PPT to just understand. Okay, when we talk about frequency, what I say is simple like you just go and Google on the COVID data on the YouTube, you'll find a lot of things over there, right? That is like bubble maps, or you can say on like some kind of the heat map as well, right? So frequency analysis is nothing but a numerical method which provides a clear representation to global dynamics. Okay, and you can say like if you have been working through the ND areas as well for the multi-dimensional systems, you might understand it there. Okay, we'll be having a practical approach. We'll be talking about all these things today. Okay, fine. Now when we examine the market, that is something like what will be coming inside the business administration. So market overview is basically a brief synopsis of commercial and the industrial market. Right? Basically where you go for aiming on the product, okay, and to provide a current snapshot to all the market viewers like that this is the growth of the particular company or this is the growth of the particular like you might be aware of the Bombay Stock Exchange BSE like the graphs of there. If you go with the business administration techniques, right, you'll be able to find it all. Okay, then we have the risk and reward, that is like the fifth parameter basically. This is the ratio actually which marks the prospective reward of an investor for earning every dollar or every rupee, like currency we are talking about, okay, on the risk of their investment, like how much they are going to invest for their like according to the data analysis that what is going to be like incremented in the next years, upcoming years. So that is basically the risk, and if it is coming up there according to the data you are analyzing and then going for that investment, basically you are going a reward for that. If it is like, so that would be a reward. Now that can be a positive or that can be a negative. All right. So these are some of the tools basically which are used for data visualization. You use like NumPy, SciPy, Scikit-learn, Jupyter, like these are the methods actually, Seaborn, Plotly, Matplotlib, TensorFlow, well, a lot of things. Okay. We'll be using Google Colab today. All right. Okay. At the phase 2, we'll be understanding that what exactly is exploratory data analysis and the type of exploratory data analysis. Okay. So EDA is a way basically to investigate data sets and find preliminary information. Or you can say basically the insights or uncover underlying patterns in the data. So instead of making assumptions, data can be processed in a systematic method to gain insights and make informed decisions. All right, that will be looking ahead like with the data actually we'll be making a lot of plottings and a lot of analyzations. Okay, fine. So here, like in the EDA sector, what you can see here is nothing but a raw data, right? What you transform to visualize, and that is something like we all know that if we go through a pictorial representation, that is much better for understanding for every human being, right? Because we are not talking about the machines. Simple, like if you see a pictorial representation instead of a data, you might understand better in the pictorial one, right? So in the EDA, you look onto the data to understand what is on browsing level basically. Then you go for performing the investigations to understand the data better. And that data better is nothing but you are trying to find the uncover patterns, or you can say the underlying patterns in the data. Okay, fine. Next, why exactly this EDA is important? Now, this EDA is important because it helps to understand the data before coming to the conclusions. Now, whatever the data you have before, like you go for predicting, you just do the analysis for once. That is why EDA is important actually. Okay, it helps you to get your clarity before making your assumptions or the predictions you can say on. Okay, and the spot erroneous data trends and events you'll be getting exactly, right? That is something like whatever the data is there, when you visualize, you'll be getting exactly if you are going for analyzing as well, you'll find that where are the errors in your data, like if you are predicting as well. Okay, right? Okay. Now, what are the types of data we actually go through when we go for EDA or any kind of data analysis you go? Exploratory data analysis is something like where exactly you just go with a lot of plottings. Okay. Now, in simple terms, if we are going to understand, if we are just going to understand about the data types, we say it has to be three types like univariate data, bivariate data, and multivariate data. Okay. Now, these three data is like divided, like examples you can see on. Univariate is something, just a minute, yeah. Univariate is something where you'll be focusing on like one kind of the data. Okay, that's simple, like where you'll be predicting of the data on one. Okay, let me just bring up my pen here, explain it with this. Let's say you are going with the univariate analysis, you just go for finding up with the single data, right? Let's say that's this is a data set over there, and there are some features, or you can say some attributes respective to, like, let's just say here we have 100 columns cross let's just say 4 to 5, okay, 100 rows, 4 to 5 columns. Okay, now these 4 columns are basically your features, or you can say on your attributes to, like to go with the analysis. Now, let's say this is the first column, the second column, the third column, and the fourth column. Now, if you're going for the univariate analysis, simple, like if you're going with any of the column, let's just say 1, 2, 3, or 4, anyone. Okay, like for examples, you can see a change in the height. That will be a univariate analysis actually, because height is simple as a singular data, and the weight is simple as like that. Or you can say as well the age. All right, in the bivariate analysis, so if you are going with any one of the column, let's say, so that is one singular data you are working with, or one single variable you are working with, that will be exactly called as your univariate data. Now, in this case, if you are going for like 2 columns, let's just say 1 and 2, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 1, anything like that would be considered as your bivariate data, because you are going with 2 columns there, not like 1. We are going with the 2 ones there, right? Okay, simple, right? Now, when you're going with more than 2 as well, like if we go with the example of diabetes prediction, we actually try to learn it in the machine learning algorithm there. Okay, so in the diabetes prediction, like it is based on the various factors, like it's not only based on the age. Okay, it's like a lot of factors there are: insulin, age, BMI. I'll just show you today as well, like how you can import it and what are the different factors you're actually having in the multivariate analysis. Okay. Now, if we talk about the box plot, simple, like it is very important plotting over there. Now it has to be understood, because all the plotting respectively are like scatter plot, scat plot, everything can be easily understood. But when it comes to the box plot type, actually it just show you some these kind of things, right? So that is something like you can say on a very confusing for everyone to understand it basically. So let's just say that this point what you're getting exactly is your maximum point. This is your minimum point what you get on the right, like on the left hand side what you get is your minimum point basically of one particular column, or whatever the bivariate or univariate analysis you are going through, whatever the outcome you come up with, this side what you come up, this is your minimum value of that particular column, and the next one what you come is the maximum value of that particular column. The rest of these dots which are not in the range of the values are called as outliers. Okay, now in between the third line, the second line what you can see, this one is nothing but the median, and is also termed as to be quartile 2. Quartile 2, that is Q2. Now let me say about the quartile 1, quartile 2, and the quartile 3. This Q1, Q2, Q3 is nothing but like 25% of the data, 50% of the data, and 75 percentile of the data. and that data is nothing but the column itself, like what you are plotting there. Okay. Let's say this is an iris data set, you are plotting a sepal length of the values, right? So of the sepal length graph it is, so minimum length of the complete column, the maximum length of the complete column. Length is nothing like, let's just say the sepal length varies from 2.5 to, like for 7.9, let's just say. So 2.5, if it is starting from 2.5, obviously the 2.5 is going to be the minimum one. Okay, if you are sorting, if the data is sorted, right? The maximum you can see as like 7.9. In between, the median whatever lies will be your quartile 2 basically. Okay, this is 25 percentile of data, this is your 50, sorry, this is a 75 percentile of your data, this is 50 percentile of your data. That is basically a box plot goes on. Okay, now I'll be looking toward the advantages of the EDA, and then we'll be switching over to the Google Colab, and we'll be heading towards over the practical approaches as well. Okay, fine. So what are the advantages of exploratory data analysis? Basically, you go for improving of the variables and by extracting the averages. Okay. In between, if you have any doubts, please do write in the chat. I'll just go on through. Okay. Just a minute. How do you determine the outliers in your data? Sure. Okay. I see a question from Darshan there. Simple, like, let us say that if you are plotting a data, whatever the column you are plotting up there, right? So the range of the values what you get outside, right? Let's just say from 4.9, or just simple as I briefed you here, that is your 2.5. Yeah, so from 2.5 to 7.9 you are getting your data, right? Simple, just simple, you just box plot it, right? Whatever the outliers you'll be having in that will be plotted it. Okay, now you can identify it in much more ways. I'll show you while just having in the programming section. Okay, in the notebook I'll show you that how you can plot it there. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead with this. Yeah, so I was talking about the advantages of the EDA, right? So basically you improve the understanding of the variables by extracting their averages or the mean. Simple, like focusing on the method of central tendency. All right, so you guys will be getting exactly, I think you all have joined your respective classrooms as given on your WhatsApp group. Okay, so that's fine, like, right, you just do join the respective groups wherever you have been given. Okay, you'll find all these materials there, like your PPT, okay, your assignments. Okay, right, fine. So discover, basically you discover the errors, that is nothing but the errorness, the outliers, or you can say the unranged data actually, and the missing values are nothing but the NaN datas. So NaN is nothing but not a number. So in between the data, if you don't have a value in the particular cell, let's just talk about. Okay, so if in a particular cell, if you don't have the data, that is particularly called as a NaN data. Okay, or you can say not a number. Simple. All right, just getting ahead. All right, then we go for identifying the patterns by visualizing the graph. So the most important thing in the EDA is to discover the errors, identify the patterns, and improving of the understandings. So as soon as you come to understand the pattern or identifying the pattern, right, you can make much more analyzations and you can make much more visualizations as well. Okay, so you go for also handling the underfitting and overfitting of the data. Underfitting and overfitting comes basically in the machine learning topic when you go through, right? Because where you just give the data limits, right? That is your what much columns or what much features you actually are required with to, like to predict or to plot whatever things you will be going on. Okay, so we'll be going today with the IPL dataset just to try to understand the features they are given. So we'll go with the statistical questions as well, like what are the values of central tendency. Again, in the central tendency, what we'll be trying to find? The standard deviation, the correlation between the columns. All right, the like for the mean, the median, the mode. Okay, then finding up the like respectively values. Okay, like the sum, the maximum value. Okay, then we'll be looking toward the quartiles as well, like what are the quartile division of the data set and what is the total count of individual data elements. Also we'll be going up with like exploring of the data set, how many IPL matches were played in total, how many seasons are we analyzing on, which team scored most runs, and a lot of my interesting questions about that. I will be having that. Okay, so if you have any queries over there, you can just straight away like mail us there, or you can connect on our LinkedIn website as well. Okay, fine. Let's just proceed to the Google Colab. In between, let me just see here if you have any doubts. For a minute. minute. Let me just share you my tab. Right, so I guess you can see the tab there. Okay, it's fine. So this is like the console, or you can say as the Jupyter lab, where we'll be working today. We'll be analyzing the respective stuffs, okay, and we'll be loading the data, and then the visualization parts will be going through up, okay, for just a minute. So I'll be answering to all the questions later, like after the session. So here we see a question like, so sir, I joined late. Can you tell me what is going on? Basically, we are just going through the analyzation. We are going to start up with the analyzation now, loading the data, and then we'll be proceeding up. Beforehand, we just look onto the respective sectors as what is data visualization, what is data science, and the respective things. Okay, so let's just quickly load up the data. So you can load the data even like if you're having the drive. So you'll be getting this drive link. Actually, I'll be just pasting in the group as well, and also in the chat box, so that you can just take over the data from here. So we are having the IPL ball by ball data. I'll just show you that what exactly the data consists of, and then we'll be moving towards there, right? So okay, let me just load up the data. So I'll be just connecting the runtime. In between connected, let me just upload it. So I'll require to load some of the libraries. First of all, that is just good. Let it be uploaded. Actually, it's of like 22 point something GB over there. Sorry, MB over there. Okay, that will be uploaded. So we'll require to go with the libraries. Okay, so I'll just import it. So what are the libraries will be going on? Okay, so we'll be taking the NumPy, the pandas, the seaborn, and the matplotlib basically for today. Okay. It's still loading, no problem, let it be. All right, so we'll be going with these four. Basically, I'll just tell you that what all these four contains actually. This pandas basically will be going up with for data handling. Then this NumPy is for the numerical analysis. This matplotlib will be using up for the plotting purpose, and the seaborn will be there for the plot style. I guess this is clear to everyone, right? So we have loaded the data, I guess, up to some sort. So it's still loading. Let it be. I just run this one. Oh, we have a dot here. Sorry for that. If you loaded it, okay, fine. So you can simply load the data using the pd.read CSV there. So we'll be writing our data equals to pd.read the CSV file. We need to copy the path. Let's just say I'll take this path there. Copy the path. I'll paste it. Simply run this one. So I think the data taken. So all right. Now I'll just show you that what exactly the data consists of, like data head, and then the like the data tail as well, data random. So we'll be just going up the bit of pandas analysis first of all, and then we'll be getting ahead. Okay. All right. So let's just say that if we go with the head of the data to just understand that what exactly it consists of. So as you can see over there that this is a data set where you have the respective IDs, the city names, okay, then you have the date, the player of the match, particular venue, all right, then the team one, team two, toss winners, and the respective attributes or the features we can say on like the winner, the result margin, okay, then you have the methods as well. So basically what is a method we'll be getting in the information of the data. Then you have the umpire one and the umpire two as well, okay, fine. So this ball by ball data we don't need actually to predict on. This is like we'll be going with the 2008 to 2020 data basically to analyze it. Okay, this 2008 to 2020 ball by ball data is exactly. I'll be just showing that what more features you can apply on the data to get a better visualizations as well. Okay, so this is actually the head. With the head, actually, what you need to do is just you need to find up the first 5 values, or you can say first 5 rows. Okay, so you find the first 5 rows of your data basically using the head. That's very simple. Okay, now in between, like you can go with the ranging as well, like from 24. So what is exactly the shape of the data? We need to understand that what is the size and what is the shape, what number of rows and what number of columns you are having in this data. So that simply you can obtain using the shape. So yep, we have 816 rows over 17 columns, or you can say 17 features or 17 attributes we are having. So our data has been loaded, right? Okay, let me just make it, yeah. Now the number of rows are nothing but if you go with the 0 of this, that's 816 number of rows and then the 17 number of columns. Okay, that's very simple. Now in between what I'm saying that if you are going for the ranging of your data, that could be very easily done actually. Like in the data, if you just go, you want the data from 45 to let's just say 53. So as simple, you just index it and this is the data, right? So you are getting actually the various sortings from the 45th index number to the 52nd index number. Very simple. Okay, or you can even have the data dot sample, you know, like this, to get one sample out of your data. That could be any random number what you'll be generating in between, right? So like 349 or 236, anything, right? Okay, now we'll be going with the analysis. Before analysis, I'll just tell you that what are the columns, what are the data types we are having in here. So like data dot the d types, and also looking to the central tendency as discussed in the PPT, right? So we have the several columns over there like ID, city, date, player of the match, venue, neutral venue, team 1, team 2, toss winner, toss decision, winner, result, and the respective parameters as well. Okay, fine. So we'll try to get up the information basically where you'll be getting the all column information, that what exactly your data consists of, what is the memory usage, and what are the number of like ranges and rows you are having in. So it is a pandas score data frame, right, where we have range index of 816 entries, basically starting from 0 ending at 815. Then we have the data columns, basically 17 columns, right? Every column name has been displayed to you: ID, city, date, player of the match, venue, neutral venue. Then you have team 1, team 2, toss winner, respectively. And here you have the non-null counts actually. So non-null counts is simply like, which is displaying you that the non-null counts, or you can say the non-NA values, or you can say the null data, that is not a number, nan, exactly what we discussed in the PPT, right? So in between where you have the missing data. So here we can see like 816 non-null, that means 816 data present. Here we have 803, like you can just subtract it like simple, okay, and the left hand like 13 or whatever it is, okay, that is a missing one. And as they like when see in the method we have 19 non-null objects. Okay, so very huge amount of null data we are having in the method one. So it'll be simply like dropping up all the null values what we can take down. Okay, so complete data is having one float category, 2 integer category, and 14 object category, or you can say the type. Okay, so memory usage of this particular data is 108.5 plus KB. Okay, so we can just get a statistical data description using the describe one. So also of the central tendency values like count, the mean, standard deviations. Standard deviation, I guess, is very clear to everyone, right? Then the minimum, the maximum value is the 25, 50, and the 75 percentile values. Basically the quartile 1, quartile 2, and the quartile 3, or you can say the quartile 1, median, and the quartile 3. Okay, so wherever the data actually is having the integer values and the float values, you'll be obtaining it from there, as simple. Okay, that's it. Going ahead. Now we'll be focusing on to drop the null values exactly like whatever the null values we are containing on. So simple like we'll try to find out the data dot is null, and we'll see this is the data frame what we are getting exactly. So like false and true. So wherever like you'll be having a null value, you'll be getting true in that side. So I can see this method column is actually having a lot of true values. Okay, even if you just see a heat map plotting of this, you'll get a like introduction to this, that this method column is actually having your true values or the null values. Okay, so we'll just try to find the sum of it. So yep, we have 13 null values in city, we have 797 null values in the method, and then 17 in the result margin and 4 in the eliminator. That's great. Okay, so we'll be removing it. So that's simple command you'll be using here to remove that one. Simple like you'll be using the drop feature. So I'll be just using the method. I'll be just dropping the method, sorry. So I'll be just dropping the method one because it contains a lot of null values. Rest you can just go for will not be affecting your data much, but method analysis or method column is going to affect the data a lot if you don't drop it. So simple like I'll be just writing data dot drop. Inside that, you can just write up from the data from which area you need to drop up the values, right? So we'll be just writing the method, and we'll be just writing the access as well, from where it has to be dropped. Also, I'll be writing the in place value simple because I need to drop it permanently from there. So I'll be writing that in place is equals to be true. All right. Okay.
Sir, what is object data type?
What is object data type? See there. Basically, like wherever you have a string, that will be considered as an object, right? Let's just say that if we have numbers, we'll be talking in the integers or in the float or the complex. Okay. If we have the respective strings, we'll be taking it as an object. I guess this is clear to you. If we just see of the data, we have string values there like Delhi Daredevils or KD Karthik or respectively all the values instead of the integers and the float we see. These all are basically strings. So strings are considered as an object there in the pandas. Okay. So now if we just look onto the data, and I'll be taking them 3 to 4 samples. So as it is, yep. So we have city, date, player of match, venue, neutral venue, team one, and the respective values. So we don't have any method for now here. Okay. So you can go for an analysis in very simple way. Actually, one by one columns you can just go and you can just retrieve of the things. Okay. Fine. So let's just see the first parameter, or you can say as like from the PPT of yours, we'll be taking the very first question, that is going with the explorations of dataset, that how many IPL matches were played in total. So let's say this is your first question. All right. So that's played, P-L-A-Y-D. All right. So simple. How many IPL matches is simple like you can just obtain using the index values as well. So the length of the match or the length of the data, you can say length of the data, and the rows is simple like going to say about the total matches. So you can just write that total matches here played in the data set is actually equals to the data dot the shape, and you go with the very first, that is the index number of 0. So we have total 816 matches data here. Okay. Now what seasons data we are actually having in, that will also focus on. Okay, like the date and all. So we have 2-3 datas over here from where we can find the season values as well. Okay. All right. The next, like we can just go to find out how many seasons data and which team scored the most number of runs. Okay. For that, I'll be just taking one more data. I'll be just downloading it. And let me just upload this one. All right, so this is the data actually from which to which date you can see on that what number of data you are having in here. Basically, it's starting from which date and ending on which date, right? And this data set is actually having the data from 2008 to 2017. Okay, So seasons we can see on like which number of years the data we are having in. So this is data. I'll take the data 1 as well, where you can go with the another approaches like pd dot read the CSV file. I'll take this path as well, and that's it. Data 1 dot the head. So yeah, this is the data basically where you're having the season as well, like the city, the date, the team 1, team 2, and respective things. Now in this data, like if we just go to find up the number of season data, what number of seasons we are having in, simple, what you'll be taking, so we'll be taking the data dot the season value basically. So it's data 1 dot the season, and you'll go for finding up the unique values there. So I'll retrieve basically all the values. So we have 2008, and as we have asked here that number of season in the data set. So number of season basically don't want to display all the season values. We want to find the number of values. So we'll just writing n unique there to find the number of unique values. So we have 10 seasons data there. That's very simple. Okay. So added to this, like we can also find the number of teams participating there, right? So with this date, and here you can just find out the starting date and the ending date, what number of data you have there as well. Okay. Okay. Fine. So we'll see that the number of teams what we are participating here. So we'll just say the team 1, because in IPL we know that every team get a chance to play with the other team at least for once. Okay. So we'll be just taking any team column, team 1 or team 2, anything, right? And you can get all the teams what have been playing in the complete like data. Okay. Where you can see the dates as like starting from 2017. Okay. Or you can see up here as well. So where you have the data from 2008 to 2020. So this data is there, like, okay. So yet we'll be just writing data. Now just wait a minute. It's data, yeah. The teams. Team 1 is there. And we'll again try to find up the unique values. To display it, you'll be getting an array. Yeah. So that is, you can just convert it to list as well to find it one better way. So yeah, we have Royal Challengers Bangalore, we have Kings Knight Punjab, Delhi Daredevils, Mumbai Indians, and the respective teams actually like Rajasthan Royals, Deccan Chargers. Okay. So these are the teams' unique values for which has been playing like for a number of times. What is there? The like 816 matches. Okay. It's not very compulsory that every team has played for that number of matches, right? Simple. The total matches count as 816. All right. So I'll be going with the another analyzation. Now this is very simple, like what is the number of teams that are playing, okay, and this is here the short form. This is another data. We are focusing on this data right now. And the player of the matches, we have for every match we have a player, okay, right here, like you can see a match played between the KKR and RCB in 18 April 2008. This is like the data set basically giving you the analyzations, right? The result was normal, like if DL is applied or not, yes or no, simple. So we can just have an overview that what are the number of matches, right? What are the number of matches in the IPL from 2008 to 2017, right? What are the number of matches where DL was applied? Understood? So we can just have like number of matches where DL was applied. Simple, like in the data 1. So we can just say DL matches. So DL matches would be like, let's just say I'm saying DL, and that would be, okay, let's just grab it. So data 1, inside it, you'll be just going data, and you'd be analyzing it that inside the data dot the DL applied. Equal, I guess, yes, is there. So you see some values over there. That these are the matches where the DL was applied. So you can see the city season values, sorry. The season values like in 2008, what one number of matches were there where you have the DL. You can even like go over the Boolean values as well. Like let's say if you want for the number of seasons, so you can have seasons as well. So or else just a season count we can go on. So we'll find that in 2016 there were 4 matches where the DL was applied. 2009 we have 3 matches, then 2 matches in 2008, then like 1 in the 2014, 15, 11. Because this is a data which is having like 2008 to 2017, this is the outcome, right? Now if you go with this data set where you have the team 1 toss decision, result, like runs, eliminator, winner, toss decision. Here you don't have any such DL methods, or like simple like neutral venue, and like all these values are there. So eliminator, how many eliminator are there in the matches? Like, that's simple. We'll be going with them different analysis way. Like okay, we'll be going with some of the analysis today, and then the rest of the things. So visualizations will be starting up now. Okay, so now we'll be focusing on that to find out. Just a minute. Someone said anything? Any problems?
What is PL applied?
DL applied. Okay, sure. Here DL applied is nothing but like in the matches, like if rain occurs or anything, like DL is applied to a match. Simple like this is DL applied. Is here is a column actually. If you just see it, yeah, here. So here you have a column actually where you have N and Y values. N means that this match was played between KKR and RCB and there no DL was applied, right? And simple like these are the matches where you can see, okay, just let me just again print it. So here you can just see that these are the matches like played where DL was applied, where you have the values equals to Y. All right. So in between, like if the results are basically given on the basis of, like the values of like, on the basis of certain reasons, like if the match is interrupted, that how the result are displayed, that is the things. Okay. So we'll be going with the visualizations. Okay. And really like if you have any doubts, you can ask up later. Okay. So we'll be focusing on the most wins in the IPL, the team who is be winning for the most number of times in the IPL. So I'll be taking in this. So let's say we are creating a temp, actually a pt.data frame of winner from the data of the winner. Data of winner is nothing but simple as this data we have. Okay, let me just scroll up there. So this is the data and we have winner column here, that is like all the values of the respective team. Like if the matches is played between Chennai and Delhi, so we are having Chennai there. Basically on the basis of results also you can analyze, okay, on the basis of their toss decision as well. So we'll be focusing on toss decision. Also, I'll be giving an analysis that what is the team percentage value. As you can see on the television, like we can say if CSK is playing with Mumbai, what is the winning percentage of CSK? So that kind of analysis, you can just have it like if you have a good data. All right. So let's just analyze it. So here we are trying to find most number of wins in the IPL. So I'll just show you that what is the count wins. So here simple what we are creating is a data frame, okay, with a dictionary I'm creating as like for the winner value, and that is the data of the winner, okay, and then we are trying to find up the value counts. That's simple. You can just obtain this one again in a very simple way, that is data of the winner. All right, and you can just go with the value counts. You can obtain the same value here, exactly what you're getting there, right? So don't be misconfused, like whatever the things you are doing here, just nothing at the dictionary. You're naming it as a key over there, and then you are just writing the value, that is data.winner. This is the winner value you are printing, and that's a very simple way. Okay, so you can go with this one as well, like you are grabbing up one column and you're trying to find the respective value counts, or you can say the unique value counts. So we can find that Mumbai Indians has won 120 matches in the complete history of like from 2008 to 2020. Out of 861 we are going, right? So we can find every team's winning percentage as well, right? I'll show you that how. CSK has got 106 matches like winning, okay, and the Kolkata Knight Riders we have 99. Okay, so we can even find that what number of matches CSK has played. Okay, you can just find it like in the team 1 or in the team 2 what number of matches CSK has played, and you can just obtain like 106 if CSK is winning. Out of the percentage like total matches, you can find it. Let me just show you. So you can make data, sorry, it's data there. So in the data you can obtain for the team 1, team 1 equals to, I think, let me just copy the Chennai Super King value.
Sir, Rising Pune Supergiant, why it's come 2 times?
Rising Pune Super Giants, like here it is T and here it is S, that's the difference. Understood? So basically it is like in the data when this observations are coming. So here you have, this is something like you'll be getting a unique values. So here you can see Rising Pune Supergiant, it's there, and this is here we have S as well. So uniquely like this becomes different from this area. So you can count it for 15. Okay, fine. Basically this is nothing but the unique attributes you are getting. Okay, so this is like S, which is like making is different from this data. So that's the only thing you're getting in here. Okay, so we need to find for the Chennai Super Kings. Simple. In the team 1 you'll be going with this, and also with the team 2 we'll be taking team 2 equals to this particular value. And let us just grab in. So 178 rows over 16 columns. That's okay. So we can see actually one CSK value in one side, right? That is like team 2. Either in any of the side you are having actually the CSK value. So these are basically the matches which is played, which has been played by CSK in the complete year's data. So in 19, how many number of matches, like in 2008, 2009, 2000 till 2020, CSK has played 178 matches. So that's very simple. You can just find the CSK winning percentage. That's very, like I'll be just showing you this shape of 0. And CSK total wins, as you can see over here, is 106. So I'll be just making it as CSK matches. So this I'll name as CSK. And yep. So I'll just display the percent CSK is winning is nothing but the, what is that, 106. So very simple, 106 by the CSK dot the shape of the 0, whatever retrieve and multiply by 100. So yep, we see the result. So CSK winning percent is actually whenever the CSK is playing, and we can just see that if you can just round it off, you'll see the 60% winning there is like 60% of winning percentage you can say on the CSK will be winning the matches. Like if it is playing with any other teams, any sort of teams, we are not focusing on any team now. It's very simple that this CSK, if you look onto the CSK, I'll just show you the head. So in the CSK, if you look on, you can find that this is actually, yep, let me just zoom out. Yeah. So you have team 1, like if CSK is playing with Punjab, choosing to bat, okay, winner is CSK. So we can also find that number of matches where the CSK has been, like 106 matches, whatever all matches. You can just make one more Boolean conditional here, and you can retrieve that as well. Okay, so that's fine. Now we'll be trying to find up the graph of this. Okay, basically analysis is, I think that is clear to you. Okay, so I'll be just creating a label over there, and I'll just plot all the values what you're getting in. Okay, so we'll try to get a pie plot, you can say on. Okay, so let me just write up the code. I'll explain you. Yeah, so here we are trying to find, or you can say we are trying to create a label, basically a list of the values what you are having in. This is nothing but this one. This all values will be coming inside a list actually. Okay, you can even directly convert it to like the values of value count dot to list, and that's very simple. So we are trying to just find it this dot keys, then we are trying to like subplot the values, and we are making the figure size actually, just you can say resizing the figure to 20 cross 12. That is nothing but the like the tuple values of the inches you are increasing in. And we are just making, actually this is a figure, right? So we are making an XS, that is a pie plot we are plotting. The X factor, we are taking the count wins we have created here, this one. Okay, let me just see the count wins where we have created. Okay, I think this is the rest of the code we have pasted it here. Just a minute. Count wins we have created somewhere, I guess. Yep, here. Let me just again copy this one. Yeah, so we have the data frame here, simple, count wins. So we are going to find up the keys of the data frame. Keys are nothing but again the values what you are having, Mumbai Indians, CSK, KKR, and all these values, right? Simple. subplot again, and then the pie plot. Labels we are taking as label, nothing but all the team names you can say will be labeled there. Autopacity is nothing but the percentage value. I'll just show you that if I don't write this, what will happen. Okay, the title I'm taking most wins in the IPL. Font size I'm taking as 20, and I'll just print the graph now. So you can just see this pie plot actually, where you have the no percentages for now. So you can see this complete 816 matches data plotting, where you have CSK winning, Mumbai winning percentage, okay, and all these. Now here we cannot see any percentage value, right? That is something formula you can say, or a parameter which helps you to plot up the percentage value. This is nothing but the autopacity you use there in the pie plot. So I write, and this is nothing but again the very simple thing. You can have explode as well, okay, like the colors you can change, and autopacity is very simple as there. So if I take it as for the two float values, let it be one float value. If you just make it two, let's just see what happens. So now you'll be actually having like 12.19%, 13.05%, 14.78%, right? That's very simple. If we go with the 1F there, so we'll be having it like in one simple values, like see, we have 13.1% CSK winning, then we have 12.2% of KKR. All right, we have 14.8% winning percentage of Mumbai Indians, according to the data, basically what you are getting in here. Okay, so this is like an analysis of, you can say, an overview actually what you are trying to get it here. Okay, now if we want to find up the most winnings in the eliminator, we have the eliminator as well. We'll try to find out what are the teams who has gone in the eliminator. Let's just see.
Sir, please explain again about cell.
This one? Sure. Here in the first line, what you are trying to do is creating a data frame, simple. And the count wins, what you are doing is trying to find the value counts. Now just let me tell you that what exactly here it comes. So if you just go with the count wins, let me just make all the comments. Just a minute. Okay. I'll just show you that what is your count wins. So count wins is nothing but all the values basically of the teams and the respective winning values. Okay. Now what we are doing is, let me just remove the label now. Now this is actually a series. You can see on data type also you are getting. This is a pandas series. Now we want this data in a list form, right? So for that I'm making a list, actually going with the for loop, that is I of 0, that is all the values over there from starting from the 0 for I in count win keys. The count win is actually a dictionary, as you can see, like we have created a dictionary, right? Simple. I'm trying to find up the keys of that. So I'll just show you again the value of labels. So labels are again a list value. I guess label is this. Yeah. So you can see this is a list value where you are having actually all the respective team names. Okay. You can even get it like using the data of your team one, or any like unique values, and you can just retrieve of the total team participating in there, and you have all these values, like you can see where we have found it. Yeah. So here you can even, let's get it like using this data.team1.unique values to list form. You can even write this one ahead of the label. Instead of going with the for loop, you can write that too as well to get the things. That depends on you, like what kind of you are using. And all right. So yeah, next line we are doing is exactly like we are trying to plot it, a subplot basically of 20 cross 12. 20 is nothing but 20 inches over the 12 inches is the size of the length and the width we are having. Okay. Then we are trying to plot a pie graph. Okay. Where the X factor of a graph is nothing but the count wins we need to plot. Okay. Basically because it has the respective values, or you can say it has a respective count values as well. So we need to plot that. The labels we are naming it as this labels, the team names. Okay, if you don't write label, just simple plotting will be coming, and you cannot understand at which pi is for what team, right? You can see it's a list label where you have 15 elements, and the elements naming has been displayed to you here. It's a minute. Yeah. So I guess here you can see in. Okay, fine. So autopacity is nothing but a parameter which will help you to find up the percentage value, okay, to print up the percentage value. And then the next line, you are just printing up this graph using the title, okay. You're making actually a title to the particular graph, and you are making the font size as 20, and that's a plt.show you are doing. And this is the graph you are getting. So here, this is the title. These are the labels, particularly like Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians, and these are the labels what you are having in here. And the respectively like the autopacity is giving up the percentages value. That's it. I guess this is clear to you. Okay. Now I'll be focusing on the next one, that is the most winning team in the eliminator. Okay, you can even grab it, simple eliminator teams. So we can have data and we can go with the eliminator now. And we'll look onto the shape, sorry, just simple like run it. So we have yes and no values basically. So in the data, you'll just see the data where your data eliminator is equals to y, and we'll try to get onto the shape. So we have 13 teams out there for the eliminator between every team's value. Okay, so we'll try to find it that the most winning team in the eliminator as well. So simple like we'll be doing a count plot, and this is like the most teams of, so actually we cannot see the like the names of the teams which has been like the teams which are going in the eliminator, right? Let me just use the show as well to remove the text there. Yeah, no, it's okay. So we cannot see actually the type like the team names, so we need to like to rotate up the values, and like the we'll be writing this using the xtext, and then that's a very simple thing. So plt dot the xtext, and it would be possibly like rotating it as for the 90%, or we can say 90 degree, and let's run this now. So what's it there, matplotlib has no, okay, sorry, that's the spelling error. Just zoom in. That's it. Yes, now you can see like this, these are the basically the winners teams actually. So you are rotating your text up to 90 degree. So you can see like basically the size, you can increase the size as well, like if you want this parameter, I guess you can clear with this fixed size equals to, if you are plotting this figure, this would be like very simple when you're plotting this, just like plt dot a figure, you can increase the fixed size. Oh sorry, this is fixed size equals let's say you're going with 20 cross this, don't go with 20 10 cross 8. So you get actually a better big size graph, and that's very simple if we just increase or decrease one parameter. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we are having this 19 cross 8, and that's very simple. You can just see Rajasthan Royal for 2 times, Kings Knight Punjab in the eliminator. When Kings Knight Punjab has gone in the eliminator, it has won for 3 times. Sunrisers Hyderabad for 1, like you can see Royal Challenger Bangalore for 2, and this like for all. Like, so we'll be heading towards like this for the more of the eliminators, and like all the respective features what we are having in this data, will be going with that tomorrow as well. Okay, meanwhile like we have some sort of assignments and sort of some quizzes what we'll be giving it today, right? So it is basically your like what your simple classroom, and I guess like everyone has joined here. If not, like you can just check it out, like who have not joined, you can just come in and like join this particular this area. Okay, this area, like if you just come and you can see like a lot of students are there who have not joined basically, right? So you'll be getting up the contents and the materials here in your classroom section, like once your this session is over, right? Within, okay, so I guess this today's topic is clear. You do join your respective classroom, you'll be getting your quizzes, you'll be having all the links over there as well. The data will be given there, this notebook will be given to you there as well, so you can practice. Okay, so I guess today's topic is clear, guys. Okay, if you have any doubts, we can just have it there in the chat box. Okay, so thank you for the session.